everybody. The Blaston Championship returns. I'm Ultra David, helping you get through it here with Dr. Oolong on the side. We've already seen a couple of matches. We've seen some good stuff, and now we're going to be seeing the winners of the previous two matches that we just saw. Anything you're going to be looking for in particular here, Oolong?
Oh, and Montybann versus Tesseract, everything. We just saw Tesseract go ahead and take things with the double Vipers. Montybann is actually also a user of very high damage dealing weapons. Monty is very, very, very good with the Luma. So going and seeing how he performs against Tesseract, again, I think that the favorite opponent here, I think, is still Tesseract at the end of the day. Monty really started his climb during the VRML season this past year. So it'll be very interesting to see. I think that we could definitely see the upset here with Monty taking the win. But Tesseract's been around for a while. He definitely has been a dominant force. So we'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes, to be honest with you. I don't even think I've seen these two play in recent history.
Okay. We got a couple of players from the UK here. I'm sure that they're familiar with each other, yeah?
Yep. The EU crowd especially is usually pretty tight-knit. So, you know, it's fairly well known. I think that these two players may not have played too much in scrims and stuff like that, just getting prepped for these matchups specifically, knowing that this may have been the favored result. But I would expect to see, you know, a sort of we've seen a lot of very pokey builds today. We've seen a lot of builds that do a lot of, you know, small amounts of damage over time. I think this is the match where that changes.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the match where they're going to go all in on the damage side of things. And if we see pokes, it's only going to be setting up hazards for those high damage dealing weapons.
Interesting. That sounds pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. If so, yeah, these are, in talking with other community members, the two highest considered players in the region, right?
Yeah.
So number 1 and number 2, Tesseract and Montybann. So yeah, it would make total sense if they had expected this in the first place. And maybe they have something up each other's sleeves. What do we got? We got double Viper on Tesseract
coming
side.
from Tesseract side, we do see that double Viper again. Very similar loadout to what he was running last time. The only difference is the attachments that he has on the Raptors. He has what is lovingly being called the Drunken Raptor Ellipse. It is a faster Raptor Ellipse, but you don't actually get as much control over the curve. And then the Fast Raptor. It does decrease the reload speed. Ooh, that Viper Ellipse hitting. Oh, no. And then from Monty's side, actually, I do believe I was incorrect. I do see the Luma, but I do see that Raptor making its return as well, along with the Raptor Ellipse and the Aegis Shield. So definitely not one too focused on dealing damage, but compared to Tesseract's build, a much shorter overall cooldown.
Some juggling there. This is actually almost the same build that Monty had the last time we saw him. He's got the Luma instead of the Raptor. But other than that, he did have the Vector in the final match versus Slow. As he waits. Okay, force down, and that is gonna do it. Tesseract. As the opponent went down there, you can see him just swing the Viper down and get the W.
These Viper shots are absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get into the next round. Again, you know, doing that much damage and then not being able to get it back at all. That's really what Monty has to look out for here. Another hit from Tess. He's doing all of his damage in chunks of 30.
Monty tried it with the Luma there, but with nothing else setting it up, you can see Tesseract just dodge out of the way on reaction. He sets up
just peppering him
well.
with the
on
Raptor Ellipse as well. He tried to fire off both of those Vipers at the nade to get rid of it. Sort of interesting that he'd be willing to spend so much of his resources on that. I think that might kind of show you his mindset here, really trying to focus on using those Vipers as much as possible.
The juggling's sick.
Yeah, the juggling. Actually, at this point, juggling has gone from something that has been a bit of a like a niche move. Ooh, all right, Monty though going through. I believe that was the Luma going through and getting back some damage on Tesseract here.
Yep.
Going ahead and landing even more damage on Tess. Using that Raptor Ellipse.
Ooh, look at the movement on Tesseract's side. It's just way outside of those little shuttlecocks that the Luma is shooting.
All right. Comes that Hammer Nade again. We talked about it before. That Hammer Nade could be used to dissuade aggression.
you don't know where he's going to be shooting from. Look at the movement with his hands right there. That is scary stuff. As Monty's just trying to evade.
All right, now he gets to go in for his combo. He has the Luma.
15 seconds.
Setting it up there, you can see on the
Not
camera
much.
lip.
15 seconds left on the
Shooting it at
clock.
the side, pulling it, making it swing in for the clamp. Monty's down in life. And even more so now. He finds one good hit, though. He doesn't have anything super damaging to bring out.
Oh, he does manage to. Oh, he does manage to land the bow in the last seconds. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful from Monty.
3, 2,
Real buzzer over there.
blast on.
A little bit of damage
It does seem like those I'm sorry, not the Wildcat. The Vector shots this time around are going wide, but it's enough to make Tesseract think about where he's standing.
Yeah, even if they do go really wide, he's got to like think about looking back and just taking some of his attention towards that stuff.
Oh, there we go, managing to land another 6 damage. It's not much, but that's small amounts of damage over time.
Oh, where does it go? Oh, it did hit him!
Unfortunately,
You can see Monty
go
try
ahead
to
and
duck.
get hit.
Yeah, he did try to get underneath it. I think he knew where it was going, but he couldn't quite duck entirely. Really nice angle there on the Viper Whip. Tesseract.
Okay, that nade goes off. That's right, not even having to really look back at it. He just knows the pattern of where it's going to pop.
Yeah, that is impressive. Luma still held there by Monty. You can see it as a double-handed weapon. Everything else you can do with one hand. That one you gotta have two on it. And he's waiting to set something up. He's waiting for a combo with it.
Here comes the Luma setup. He's following it up with a hammer nade. Oh, but the hammer nade, I believe, hits the top of the podium. And is unfortunately going to despawn. That's really not great luck from Monty there.
The juggling right there from Tesseract. One hand, then the other, setting things up.
Keeping everything in play the entire time. That's really important in these sorts of matchups. 20 seconds left on the clock. Monty's behind, but not by much. Not by much at all.
10 seconds.
Hammer.
He's really waiting here.
7 on the clock. Monty needs something. He was able to find it last time. The Luma, he grabs it. Can you get a hit?
Oh, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Tesseract is going to take the win. Good game. Good game. That was great. Are we going to go see? Okay, we're heading right into it. We're heading right back into it.
Yeah, man.
3, 2, 1. Blast
Of course,
on.
that Luma, each shot is less than the Viper's, but the fact that it's just about how fast you pull your hand back to get another shot effectively. Reload time is very fast on that. You can get multiple hits and add them up fast. Tesseract waiting it out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Maybe are we in fact going back to...
I think that there may have been a slight issue with the room. I think these players are going to go ahead and make a new room.
Okay. All right, well, that's fine. Lot to talk
That's
about.
perfectly fine. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it might just be personal preference, but occasionally these rooms do get bugged out after multiple matches over and over and over again. But great job from Monty taking that round. Again, Tesseract with those dual Vipers just is so scary. You know, it's almost pure intimidation factor. And there were a lot of times during that last match where Monty was just sitting there with the Luma, not wanting to waste it, and just giving Tess all the room that he needed in order to go through and, you know, get that proper placement on his play area and get those Vipers off. So sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you would.
Yeah, and I think it was very important to highlight what you brought up, which is that even though you know, there are multiple things to think about in terms of angles coming out of Monty, you could see how out of Monty, Tesseract was so good at knowing where they were going that he didn't necessarily need to look around in a way that somebody who was less practiced at where things would be angled might need to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you got a lot of tools, right? The nades are always going to pop in the same pattern. Specifically with that, with the fast hammer nade, there is a big hole in the middle of it. So as long as you don't dodge too far out of the way, sometimes that can actually be the best strategy, is to just kind of sit there right in front of it and wait for it to pop. But we are going to go ahead and get into this next match. No weapon swaps between these two.
Okay.
They're going to stick with those same builds. And again, loving this play. This is probably my favorite visual stage to be playing on. So, excellent job from the developers there. Tesseract is going to use his shield to get rid of that nade. Really does not want to see it. And trading a 3-second shield for a 5-second grenade is definitely worth it.
Ah, yeah.
Ooh, great dodging there from Monty. My goodness.
Just past the Raptor shot.
Then again, that pure intimidation factor coming out from Tesseract.
Illumite ready yet again. But as he has before, he wants to wait. No, he is trying a shot.
Yep. And you can see there that Tesseract, even after using the shield, went ahead and kept that handle for the drop block. Utilizing all the resources, it helps to minimize your reliance on those shields. You know, if your opponent starts seeing that all you're doing is using those shields, they can play around that. But if you're drop blocking too, then it becomes a lot harder. Monty's going to go ahead and land another Luma and go ahead and take the damage lead.
Ooh, okay, now mostly good evasion, but still a couple of chunks off of Monty's life.
Yep, and the nade gets sniped out of the air too. Interesting.
Couple of shots coming in, moving forward there.
Not an interesting thing. Thought for a second that Monty wasn't running the fast Wildcat attachment.
The movement's there for Monty yet again. Vipers to think about. Look at this. 2 long barrels staring him at the face. 9 seconds left to kill the life lead for Tesseract.
5 seconds.
Oh, but he's got to fire through all this. Oh, he doesn't, it's so much pressure, he isn't even able to fire back in the last 15 seconds. And Tesseract is going to go ahead and take round 1.
Not a huge life lead in it, but it didn't feel like he was as pressured as Monty was throughout. From the side, from the top, the Hammer E bullet. Monty weathering it. Waiting for his stuff to come back. Okay, the start from him. He grabs the Luma, trying to find big hits versus Tesseract. Yes.
Absolutely, and he's looking clean on health right now. Again, using his weapons as much as he can to drop block, as well as actually do damage. Especially with those Viper bullets. It only takes 1 drop block to get rid of a Viper bullet. He's going to be doing some juggling himself. Really push him into the corner there and keep the pressure going.
The Hammer yet again. He moves forward.
Oh, great use of the shield there. Only one of those Viper ellipses or Raptor ellipses gets through.
Speaking of Vipers, though, they are in play.
1 minute.
Yep. And actually going ahead and throwing that nade directly at Tesseract to force him back. Get him off of the front of his play area where he wants to be with those double Vipers.
Bunch of it already back here for Tesseract. Setting up the Hammer E yet again.
Ooh,
Viper in hand.
No!
Oh, you can see the red one just barely squeak by.
They are still ridiculously close heading in the last 30 seconds of this round.
30 seconds.
Again, you know, those high damage dealing weapons are great, but it's so much to have to land them over and over again. We're going to see if Tesseract can get it here. He's got his full combo up. Shield comes out. Woo! It's a little bit of damage off.
Here right after that.
Oh, Monty,
14.
Monty,
If he can maintain pressure, it
Monty!
will be great, but Monty still... There's the Luma, it just spawns! If he can find a big hit right now,
5 seconds.
he doesn't even need much. If he can find any hit...
1. Round over.
No, and he is going to take it, though! He is going to take it off of a sliver of health. Great plays, great plays. If that round went for maybe a second longer, it would have been done so. He was stuck in that corner. He didn't really have a great way of getting out, but now he might even be able to take it back and take round 2. Match 2.
Start here from Tesseract. Luma to Monty's right, as you can see. Yes, there it is. But he waits for the rest of
Drop
his
blocks,
kit to come
using
back
that
here.
nade. Tesseract actually seeing the drop block, though, and using that to get rid of the nade with its low health. Again, every projectile has health, and it has collision, which is how much damage it does to other projectiles. So, taking that damage from the Viper doesn't mean that the nade doesn't lose any health. It just doesn't lose enough health to be deleted.
What a duck right there by Monty underneath a couple of Vipers. Vipers. That's the zone.
These small
Raptor
pokes that
fly
Monty's
in.
getting off seem to be paying off for him.
The bounce of his Vector just continually
Another
evaded
great
well by
drop
Tesseract.
block. Even throwing the shield just to get the extra 3 damage. That's important here.
Uh-huh. And yet they both have the ability to do fast damage. We've seen that come too, so with 49 on the clock, Monty's slightly down in life, but you know he could take it back.
Yeah. Yeah, heading into the last 40 seconds here, I think both of these players have maybe taken 10 damage apiece. Again, making the 3 damage that Monty continuously does with that shield even more important.
Seriously,
30 seconds left on the clock. The Luma is going to come out.
If any of those Lumas land.
If any of those Lumas land, I won't say it's donezo for sure, but it's definitely going to make one heck of a difference. Monty does have the Aegis shield up. 15 seconds left on the clock.
Here comes the nade.
10 seconds.
Monty needs any hit, any sliver, even a weapon if it lands could be enough. 2, 1, Tesseract! Oh,
and Tesseract, again off a sliver, is going to go ahead and take match 2. And yeah, I can maybe 12 damage taken from Monty, maybe 9 damage taken from Tesseract.
wow.
So, especially in that match, very minimal amounts, and it's not like they weren't firing tons of AoE weapons at each other.
Yeah.
Great dodging from both of these two.
You absolutely see their movement around the stage, understanding of where the threats are coming from. So important in not taking damage. Tesseract looks around, finds a hammer E to start things off.
Oh, the nade does end up going off.
He's moving.
He's moving. He is moving.
Waiting it out. Here comes his nade as he has a little bit of damage dealt versus Tesseract. And, we have seen even in that last game how important this little bit can be.
Yeah, and you can actually see after that last round that they're really focusing on making sure that all those weapons make contact, too.
For sure.
They're actually using those weapons for the throw damage as well. But Monty went ahead and landed a Raptor lip shot there. That is actually going to help him out. Tesseract takes even more damage there.
He's got his plant coming in.
I'm not going to get too excited. Oh, there you go. Things do change in an instant.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Monty takes so much. Hold on a second. He deals his own to maybe take the life back. It's hard to tell.
I think so. I think he took the lead back, but we're going to have to see. There's still 40 seconds left on the timer. Wave of bullets comes through for Monty. Ooh, nice drop block. Manages to save his skin there.
30 seconds.
All right, Monty no longer has the lead. Oh, no, he
no.
throws out the Luma.
He dropped the Luma.
He's trying to toss it from hand to hand there so he could get it in his primary hand to fire.
20 seconds left.
Accidentally drops it, Butterfingers.
No guarantee that the Luma's going to be next. Of course, the next one to spawn is going to be random. He might not get it back.
Yep, we're going to see here, last 12 seconds. That Raptor Ellipse is just as deadly, though.
There it is.
Oh, one of those vectors does manage to land. 5 seconds left. No, Monty! Monty, what are you doing? Oh, he steps out of bounds and goes into the red, and Tesseract is going to go ahead and take round 1. Oh, unfortunate to see.
You can see his virtual avatar literally wringing its hands right there after that on the left side for Monty. Oh, man, what an unfortunate end, as now it's match point for Tesseract.
Okay. Ooh, starting off the round with one of those Raptor ellipses. Oh! Butterfingers. so that is that's a kind of a strategic move, moving weapons from hand to hand. It is something that sometimes players will just do that, especially with the Viper glitch, just to sort of catch your opponent off guard with how you're swinging it. When it's in the air, it doesn't pick up any angular information. So sometimes it's sort of a bait and switch where you can pull some really tricky curves off on your opponent. But, the amount of Butterfingers that we're seeing today gives me a bit of pause. Oof, another Raptor Ellipse landing on Monty. Yes. It's only small amounts of damage heading out from both of these two, but that just shows how close this match is.
Again, from the side, from the top, the hammer E bullet some good damage, in fact, by Tesseract on Monty. Although, Monty finds a hit on Tesseract.
Oh!
The red bullet shoots in!
Monty!
Oh.
And again, you know what? How do you keep the mental fortitude? You have to. You have to keep the mental fortitude. Even if you think that you're going to lose, there's still 30 seconds left on the clock.
And he has found hits. The Luma's there. If he's going to find big damage, it might be with that.
Oh,
no! You can see from the first-person view as he tanked that red shot right to his
Oh,
There
man.
it is. Tesseract is going to do it. That's 3 games to 0. He takes it over Monty.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Great games for both of these two. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, like we were talking